Union Township monthly meeting will now come to order. We'll rise for a moment of silent prayer. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on the roll call, Mr. Vernon? Here. Mr. Scott? Here. Mr. Schiffbauer? Here. Item number 5, Roadmaster's Report. Mr. Scott, would you please give us our monthly Roadmaster's Report?
Yes, sir. In the month of November, we made some repairs to inlets on Heritage Hills Road. There were 2 or 3 of them deteriorated. We've replaced them, and we did some patching, a bunch of milling, and we milled and patched Brownfield Lane, Jamison, Craig Meadows, and some other small patches. We're using that mill I talked about in the previous meeting, and the patching's going a lot better than it was before. We hauled compost 18 days. 2 days we went down to the city and turned to compost. I've mentioned before, after we haul it down from here, it's down to the city and then we grind it. And in order for it to decompose, we have to keep flipping the piles over and transferring it. So we do that and help the city on that. We waxed all the trucks, the plow trucks. We changed an oil pan on one of the dump trucks. We winterized the concession stands and bathrooms at Hutchinson and Orford. They're all closed down for the winter, but the walking tracks will remain open. We try to keep those plowed as best we can. After the roads are done, we usually make it to plow the walking track. We fixed all the lights and put up the wreaths in Hopwood. And also I'd like to thank the Hopwood Volunteer Fire Department for hosting the light up night, which was a success. We had about 50 people there, and they had Santa Claus come on the fire truck and stuff, so it was really nice. And that concludes my Roadmaster's Report for the month of November.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Any additions, Mr. Vernon?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item, Code Enforcement Officer's Report. Mr. Vernon, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the month of November, the South Union Township Code Enforcement Report is as follows. Letter for property repairs, we had 2. Junk vehicles, we also had 2. Dog complaints, 1. Burning complaints, 3. Again, we burn from 8 to 5 on Saturdays only. It must be out by 5 o'clock. 2 quad complaints. Again, if you see someone riding a quad, call us. If we can send a co-officer over. If you don't want to get involved, we'll try to see who owns the quad. That's been a problem for years. Delinquent garbage account, we had 52. What that means is, for the residents of South Union, I think our bill was $9.43 a month. Once it goes over $100, we have a contract with Advanced Disposal. We have to file citations. So before we file citations, we try to give you a courtesy letter. So we just sent out 52 of them in the month of November. That's a high amount. Over $100, that's over a year back owing for 12 months or more. Parking complaints, we had none this time. Citations issued, we had 0. Zoning violations, we had 2. Total of letters sent out then was 62. Our code officer works full-time, 7 to 3:30. We have a part-time officer works 3 days a week. We rotate his shifts around. Sometimes it's 7 to 3:30. Sometimes it's different hours. He watches the compost and also the rec center and goes out throughout the township and patrols. Miles traveled by our full-time officer was 1,169 miles, and our part-time officers, which we also have 3 other ones that work on weekends and in the evening, 1,911 miles for a total of 2,080 miles traveled throughout the township for the month of November. Handicapped citations or tickets we gave out was 10, and fire lanes was 4. That concludes my report for the month of November.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vernon.
Jimmy Carl just walked in.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
Motion has been made to approve the minutes of last month's meeting and seconded. On the roll call, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbar, yes. Are there any comments on the agenda items? If not, we'll move on to item number 9, pass the resolution to accept the annual budget report for fiscal year 2016. Here we are, again, about ready to go into another year. The annual budget report has been on display at the township office during working hours for anybody's review, or we were available to answer any questions and allow our residents to take a look at the budget. There are no earth-shaking changes in the budget. The township coffers are pretty sound and firm in light of the fact that there will be no necessity in increasing any of our taxes, whether it be real estate or other taxes generated through the township. Mr. Vernon, would you like to make any comments, or Mr. Scott?
Yeah, our annual budget report, which we had posted, suppressed it for 30 days, was total revenue we have figured out is $3,884,296. That's $3,884,296. Expenditures we're figuring on $3,603,261. Again, when we're going to go to our next motion will be to set our tax rate will be the same as it was the last 10 years I've been here, at least. Plus, no millage increase at all. 42, 43 years.
Yeah, and you could add on for your tenure here, 10 years, another 30-some prior to that. So the township has not raised their real estate taxes. Keep on failing to come up with the exact number of years since we've had an increase in our taxes, but I think we're around 46 years. And that is due, in fact, simply because of the substantial growth that has taken place in South Union Township over the years. We've been very fortunate for the township's continued growth, especially in the area of retail development. That has been a prime main reason why our township has been allowed to grow. And we think we've done a good job in managing the township funds, putting those tax dollars to work for our residents, and this budget I think does certainly show and indicate that we have a pretty austere budget that we are investing those dollars in the right places. So with that, the chair would entertain a resolution on the adoption of the annual budget report for 2016.
I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
I'll second.
Second, the motion has been made and duly second to accept the annual budget report as provided by the Township Board of Supervisors. On the roll call, Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbar, yes. Motion carries. Okay, further moving on to budget-related items. The next item on our agenda, motion to adopt the various taxes here in the township. The existing taxes right now, the earned income, the township receives 0.5%. That is shared with the school district. The real estate transfer tax is also and has been 0.5%. That too is shared with the school district. And the mercantile tax, that's 1 mil, and 1 mil wholesale local service tax, which totals $47 the township receives for each individual paying the local service tax. And also fire hydrant, a $6 assessment and a $9 commercial real estate tax that is 0.60 mils, so it's less than a mil. Gentlemen, any additional comments on the budget here?
I'd just like to say it's 0.6 a mil. If you use if your house is assessed at $50,000, you're only paying $30,000 to the township of South Union. $30, yeah, I'm sorry. If it's assessed at $100,000, you're your taxes are only $60. That's so you understand that the bigger taxes it goes from the school district, not from us.
Yeah, and I know going through this election that I went through, you know, knocking so many doors, I can't tell you how many people I had to explain to where your tax money goes. And people think, you know, the next time you get your taxes, please look at the breakdown and see what you pay to the township. I mean, the school district and the county get 99% of the tax money that you pay out every year. Your township taxes as far as are so minimal that, you know, when I explain to them and I show them in the book what they actually pay in township taxes, people can't believe it. They don't believe that, you know, like you said, a $100,000 assessment, you're only paying $60 to the township. So the next time you get your taxes, just look at the breakdown so you can actually see what the township gets from, you know, of your tax money that you pay.
Yeah, that's, I can tell you, that has always been an ongoing battle to try to keep our residents informed as to the difference in where their tax dollars are going, who's getting the bulk of these tax dollars. I just wish that the township would be getting as much money that goes to the school district. I think there could be a lot of things that we could do with that money, and maybe even spend it in a wiser manner than as being spent by the board. But anyways, that's another issue, and we won't go into that. But that, and I'm sure that's not going to change. People will always, anytime you mention taxes, they think they're whatever tax you are actually talking about, they always think it's too high.
Right.
And just trying to educate our public. I think some people, it seeps into them, they understand it, but it's just something like that will always be kept in their mind. And no matter how hard you try, they'll always have that perception of high taxes. But when you compare our township taxes to especially to our neighbors, the city of Uniontown, now we're not talking about their school tax, we're talking about their city tax, would be equivalent to the township tax, and it's almost 20-some times higher than what South Union Township is.
You're about $100,000 assessment. You're about $1,300 a year, compared to ours, $60 a year.
Right.
Approximately.
Okay, so at this time, if there's no other comments, the township would entertain a motion to accept the various taxes into consideration.
I'll make a motion to keep the taxes the same for 2016. Do I need to read them all?
Jeremy, do you think we should read that, each one of them?
You don't have to. You could say as stated in
Okay.
in number
As stated
10.
in motion 10?
Yeah, stated on the.
Number 10.
Yep.
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
Okay, a motion has made to accepted to accept and approve the taxes as indicated on the agenda, item number 10, for the various taxes listed under that item. No increases for the upcoming year 2016. On the roll call vote, Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer, yes. Motion carries. Okay, item number 11, this one is to announce the reorganization meeting for next month's meeting for 2016. It will be held here at the South Union Township Municipal Office Meeting Room at on January 4th at 8 a.m. Any comments?
No, it should be okay. It's first Monday.
And it will be advertised as required in the newspaper as well. Okay. Item number 12, motion to fill vacancy on the Greater Uniontown Joint Sewage Authority. This is an item that I want to explain a little bit. Years ago, the three municipalities of South Union, North Union, and the city of Uniontown agreed to form a joint authority for the sole purpose was just to manage the treatment plant that is located, actually, North Union Township, if I correctly. It's on the borderline between North Union and the city of Uniontown. This was come about because of the substantial expansion of the sewage system in South Union Township, and it was deemed back then that the best way to run the plant, instead of just having the city of Uniontown responsible for the maintenance and running of the plant, the three municipalities agreed to form this joint authority to actually run the plant. It seems like over the years we've had substantial difficulties and troubles in operating the plant. It's just been a constant battle and problems with DEP, with either moratoriums on taps being issued. Also, we've even had periods of time where a consent order had to be signed to either improve or upgrade the quality of the plant. We're talking millions of dollars. And this is a very important body. There's been some positive steps recently taken by the Joint Authority, of which we have 3 members on a 9-member authority board. They recently hired a gentleman by the name of Dean Morey, an engineer, who has done an outstanding job since his starting there at the plant. He's taken some big steps and stride to improve that relationship between the plant authority and DEP. Up until just recently, and there still is a slight possibility, some of the problems have resulted in the possibility where the treatment plant may have been required to be expanded by a consent order that would have been issued by DEP. There were definite problems with testing and the results in testing. They were inadequate. There were constant problems and spikes of the different elements that are involved in sewage treatment and the proper treatment thereof. But to be honest with you, most of the problems since I know I've been here, and I was one of the township supervisors, me, Mr. Frankhauser, and Mr. Coble, was represented the township and formed me to join authority years ago. And you know, I've experienced these problems, but I think it is a problem that has not really been thoroughly addressed by the authority over the years. And hopefully with these recent steps that relationship between DEP and the authority will be improved. But it would be a very negative thing if that plant was required to expand in size when it did not have to be. And when you're talking about an expansion of a treatment plant, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars. But recently, and unfortunately, some of the problems have been straightened out due to the addition of Mr. Morey and Sten Engineering. And I think DEP has really welcomed these changes, and hopefully here someday in the future there will be no restrictions placed on the authority in operating and running the treatment plant. It's a very serious matter. And I think that's why we have people that's representing our township that serves on that authority. So, you know, that is my take on that. And like I said, I've been here, one of the 4 founding members to form the joint authority. And I think what we're going to do here today and filling a vacancy on this is going to help add to the more efficient manner in which the plant is going to be run. Any comments, gentlemen?
Just on the, you know, I've only been here for like 19 months, so I don't have as much information as Mr. Schiffbauer does about the joint authority. But I do know that there are problems, and since Mr. Morey was hired and talking to, you know, the people at the plant, he's definitely made improvements. North and South Union have been working to improve their, it's water that gets into the sewer system that's not supposed to be there, like rainwater and downspout drains. And between the 2 municipalities, we've done work the past 2 years to, you know, lower that, so that's helping the situation. And as Bob was saying about the testing, there's a lot that goes into the testing that could be human, you know, human error. It's not like you just take a machine and you test it. It depends on where you take the test from, how long you let it sit before you take the test. So there's a lot of things there going on that weren't supposed to be going on. So, I mean, I have learned a lot since I've been here, but I just don't have the information that, you know, Mr. Schiffbauer has from being here for, you know, 30-some years and forming the authority. But I think the move that we're going to make is definitely going to improve things, and, you know, hopefully in in time to come, we do, don't have to expand the plant, because, that just calls for a rate increase that nobody wants. We definitely don't want it. So hopefully things can get better down there, and we can keep things the way they are.
Yeah, and part of these problems has really been precipitated because of the poor management skills in running the treatment plant. And I'm going to call a spade, and that's been allowed to exist for years. And I hope with this hiring of Mr. Morey, there will be additional changes that's going to take place in the operating and running that plant by the joint authority. Now is a good time to take advantage of doing that, and it's something, as I said, is just allowed to exist for far too long. It's created these problems and the poor and bad relationship with DEP, and we can't afford to continue with that. And it'd sure take a load off our shoulders to know and realize that plant is going to be operated in the manner it should be, and it's going to be operated with a very efficient type of management that has lacked in the past. And I think in what we're going to do here today, making a new appointment to one of the vacancies, that's going to take a big step in helping go in that direction. And with that, if there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. John Over to serve on the Joint Sewage Authority Treatment Plant as South Union Township's representative. He will be serving a 5-year term?
I believe so, yes.
A 5-year term, which will commence January 1, 2016.
January 4th, first. January 4th would be first Monday. Same thing. Yeah.
All right. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second Mr. Schiff's motion.
Motion has been made and duly second to appoint John Over to South Union Township's representative on the Uniontown Joint Sewage Authority for a 5-year term of office. On the roll call, Mr. Schiffmeyer, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Next item, motion to renew contract with Hoffman Border Kennels for a year period. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Vernon. He has spent endless hours when we were faced here some time ago when the Fayette County Humane Society went out of business. You don't realize how important an issue this is until you're involved on our end, where we're receiving complaints about dogs, cats, and other animals, and there are certain procedures in which you have to follow, and state rules and regulations. And Rick has done a great job being he's a very humane type of person. I know how he personally feels about animals and stuff like that. And because of that commitment, Rick did a great job in coming up with with Hoffman Boarding Kennels, who has been with us now for what?
About 15 months, I think.
15 months, yeah. And through Rick's research and interviews and questioning, he's certainly come up with an entity that's served that purpose quite well for the township. Rick?
I'd like to mention, we lost the Humane Society and closed up. We were all stuck with what to do with the animals. And Gary Hoffman's a super person. He came and offered his services to all the townships in Fayette County. He's one of the first ones to join him. And we started out with $400 for dogs, $200 for cats, till $600 a year. That's the same what we paid the Humane Society. And after hours, they do charge us $65. But this year, he raised it up $5 to $605. And if he has to come out in the evening after hours, it's additional $5 makes it $70. It'll cost us or the person who calls and needs their services. They've been very helpful for us. I know that we have a problem now with cats. We have about 20 cat traps out, different locations in our township with wild cats. But he's been very helpful coming up there during the weekdays and picking them up for us and trying to find homes for them. So, any questions on that, Jason?
No, he's done an excellent job. I mean, even when we don't have any, if we don't have anything for a week or two, he'll pop in the office and just ask us if everything's okay and, you know, if we need anything. So, I mean, the service has been definitely well worth the money.
We're hoping that eventually the Board of Commissioners, the new elected board, might try to get involved more and try and get us in the new Humane Society, because they're not a humane officer there, they're just dog catchers. They pick them up for us. We're entirely of the Humane Society in our county, but hopefully the new commissioners will act on that in the near future. But for the year 2016, we're going to need Hoffman's Kennels, so that I can make a motion to approve a contract with Hoffman's Kennels for January 1, 2016 to December 31st, 2016.
Okay, a motion has been made to appoint Hoffman Boarding Kennels as a township representative in animal control, as read by Mr. Vernon. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to hire or retain under contract for a 12-month period Hoffman Boarding Kennels. On the roll call, Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffmeyer, yes. Motion carries. Yeah, we did that. I had some concern about the distance they were located.
Yeah, I did. All of us did.
But I tell you, he's done a great job. He's down here. You know, you make a phone call, he's here in no time. And as Jason said, or Rick said, that sometimes they're in the area, they just drop by and see how things are going. And I tell you, they perform very well. Okay. Next item, comments from the public. Any comments from the public? Yes, sir. Can you identify yourself?
Bernie Clark.
And where do you live, Bernie?
Over in Cross Creek, and I've only been back here about 5 months. I think I've mentioned this before. I moved back from the Baltimore area, but grew up in Union Township.
Where'd you come? Where were you before you moved into the township?
We were outside Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
And I worked in Washington, D.C. for 42 years.
Welcome back.
And these other two guys know my story. My question, just some clarification on some of the points you already touched on in the agenda. The annual budget report, I did a quick look at the South Union Township website. Is the budget posted, or can anybody look at that? And you said some
I'll give you a copy of it.
No, it's not posted. It's not on the website. No. But we do have a copy here if you want to take a look at it.
I just thought of other residents, particularly you mentioned people questioning the township taxes, and it'd be an excellent place for people to look and see they're only paying $30 or $60 a year to the township.
Right. Yeah, we can post that. I mean, is it legal to post it on there?
Yeah.
Well, it's just that it has to be made available, which it's been made available.
Yeah, we've had it here.
No, we can post the budget itself. Yeah.
We have met our obligation in making it available.
Here at the
At the town, yeah. But I agree. I think it would be a good idea to post it on the website. We're still in the process of developing our website, and that would be, I think, one step that we might want to go ahead and take now.
Okay. Number 11, reorganizational meeting. Is that for the Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Make various appointments to all the positions, roadmaster,
Okay.
Our treasurer, secretary, secretary. There's a whole list of different items that we address.
Yeah. Every year we're required to do it the first Monday of January of every year.
Yeah.
And then the vacancy on the Joint Sewage Authority, is that a paid position? You said it's a 5-year term.
I think they do receive a meeting payment.
Okay.
Very, it's minimal.
Okay.
It's not a salary position, I can assure. And that, you know, I'm glad you mentioned it. That's a topic that I have found some discomfort with. You know, we have some good people who volunteer to go on these authorities commission, but some of the problem is when you get into very delicate issues that require a lot of time and research, the authority members basically, they're meeting once a month and that's it. And I think that's part of the problem why we've had these reoccurring difficulties and problems at the Joint Authority. the authority members, they're not being paid, they don't have a salary to spend the time. They try as best as they can. But that's the system in which we operate here in Pennsylvania. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, financial report, Mr. Treasurer.
Yes, sir. In the general fund checking account, $288,905.70. In the general fund investment account, $564,154.42. In the state fund, $81,426.60. In the hydrant fund, $2,756.08. In the athletic fund, $10,972.66. And in the North Union South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $20,350.85 for a total of $968,566.31. That's my financial.
Any corrections or additions? If not, we'll move on to the next item, motion to pay current bills.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the following bills. North Union South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $5,250. Our state fund, $21,258.86. Our fire hydrant fund, $1,156.24. Our general fund would be $255,199.43. My motion to pay those bills.
Okay, we have a second on the motion.
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion.
A motion has been made, duly seconded, to pay all current bills as written. On the roll call, Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer, motion carries. Mr. Solicitor, stand in. Do you have anything to report?
I have nothing to report tonight, thank you.
Okay.
For the record, this is Jeremy Davis from Davis & Davis. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
His father's usually our solicitor, but he's pinch hitting today.
Pinch hitting, yes. It's always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you, Jeremy, too.
South
It's young blood over here.
Yeah, the future of Davis & Davis.
And also a resident of South Union
Yes, I am.
Township.
The past 5 years.
Okay, if there's nothing, gentlemen, anything?
Nothing
Yes,
else.
sir.
All right, the chair would be glad to entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn at 4:31.
I'll
Second on motion.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and duly seconded to adjourn this meeting at 4:31. On the roll call, Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer, yes. Motion carries. This meeting stands adjourned.